If you've listened to any of my videos, you know if they provide you a list of places to go, that is a list of places not to go.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Reamer, that's Robert Grieve, and we are ever so glad that you have taken time out of your day to join us for ours. Now if this is your first time joining us, and I suspect there will be many first-time joiners, just from the title of this alone, we welcome you, we encourage you, if you would please, give us a big thumbs up. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this is content worthy of sharing to the community, and really that's what this episode or this series really is all about, is reaching out to consumers, people who are the everyday drivers of vehicles on the roads today. And of course we come from the angle of the collision industry, but this is not necessarily an industry piece. It's focused on you, the consumer. We love our industry people who watch and chime in as well. Speaking of which, if you are a subscriber to our channel, we give you a special thank you. We appreciate that so very much. If you haven't subscribed, it's easy. Just click the little button down below. And for those of you who have been with us a long time, you know that if it's Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time, we'll be chatting live with you and thanking you and interacting with you. Got lots of interaction on last week's episode.
Yep. Puts a smile on my face for sure.
Absolutely. So, with that being the case, Rob, happy Saturday to you.
To you, my dear friends, happy Saturday.
I can't tell. I mean, I can't tell you how excited I am about this topic today.
It's gonna be fun.
It is, and it's something that I'm integrally connected to, and I feel like, and I mentioned to you just before we turned on the camera, I feel like we're on the we're surfing on the very edge of the wave that is about 2 months old now for this. We're experiencing a technological revolution, the likes of which it's not been since the letterpress, that changed the way that things...
History right now.
We're living history right here and now. And if you have been living under a rock or you're not aware of what we're talking about, we are talking about the public rise of interactive artificial intelligence in language models, and specifically we're going to focus in on one, which is the number one that's breaking the internet. You thought Kim Kardashian was amazing. Wow. This thing is breaking the internet. It's called ChatGPT, and it is a language model artificial intelligence resource. And let me tell you something, folks. The toothpaste is out of the tube on this one, and it ain't never going back.
Yep.
So, with that being the case, Rob, we have been talking for about a month now about this resource, this ChatGPT, and the way that we can use it to help us help you.
It's really interesting. It's fascinating, actually.
Yeah, we came up with a couple of different things. Go ahead, let's talk about this one first, because we asked ChatGPT.
I call it Frank.
You can call it Frank if you like.
I call it Frank.
We asked Frank a specific question, and that's it. There, go ahead.
Write a list of 5 topics, that would be relevant and helpful for consumers who require the services of a collision repair center.
So that's you, right?
What does he know?
What does Frank know?
If Frank's a he.
Well, he identifies as a language model, so I'm not sure what that means, but there it is. We asked Frank to write this list of 5 topics that would be relevant to you, consumer, and we hope that you don't need the services of a collision repair center.
Yeah.
But when you do, it's great to have the information that we provide here on this channel. By the way, did I mention subscribing?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah.
All right.
No, this is what this channel is really all about. It's about giving you a peek behind the curtain as to what goes on, because this is not something you're involved with every day.
Right.
There's a lot of potholes. We want to help you avoid those potholes and give you some helpful advice to make it as easy as possible.
We had a conversation yesterday about machine learning. And here on this channel, we've talked...
It's just different than AI.
It is different. AI does machine learning. It learns, right? And we'll be very frank with you. We're not super experts in the technology behind this, Frank. But we are, we can tell you this much. This particular technology has limitations. It's brand new. It's been worked on for a decade. But it's brand new to people like us, right? And one of the limitations is that this particular model was, it did all its learning up until 2021, and that's when it stopped. It is not connected to the internet. And so we wanted to know, are the answers that it provides anywhere near
relevant to today?
Relevant to today. And so after asking the question of 5 topics that would be relevant and helpful, what did it come up with?
It's the number one is understanding the collision repair process. This can include information on what to expect when taking a vehicle to a collision repair center, what kind of repairs can be made, and how long the process typically takes.
That's a decent topic.
Yeah.
Right?
Number two, working with insurance companies. If a consumer's vehicle has been damaged in an accident, they will likely need to work with their insurance company to cover the cost of repairs. Understanding how to navigate this process and what to look out for can be helpful. Couldn't agree more.
We agree with that.
We agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yep. We don't agree with everything Frank comes up with.
It's true.
But this list he did a good job.
He knocked it out of the park.
Choosing a reputable collision center. Customers should know what to look for when choosing a collision center, such as qualifications and experience of the technicians, the quality of the repairs, and the level of customer service.
Wow.
Couldn't agree more.
Frank should be on staff.
Keeping a record of repairs. Consumers should be encouraged to keep records of all repairs, absolutely, made to their vehicle, including date, cost, type of repair. If you go to sell your vehicle, you may be asked some of these things,
You bet.
or trade it in or anything like that. You should have that information handy. So good one.
Frank hit the ball out of the park, went out, got it, brought it back, and hit it out of the park again on this last point.
Yes. Frank's my friend.
Frank, today, Frank is your friend.
Understanding the importance of original parts. Many collision centers use aftermarket or imitation parts for repairs, but consumers should be informed about the benefits of using original equipment manufacturer, OEM, parts such as better fit and finish and greater reliability.
Wow. Frank! All right, so we asked artificial intelligence
I think
to
Frank's been listening to the channel.
give us a response. He probably has. I'll bet you he's a subscriber. Are you? Okay. So now, because we talk an awful lot about sometimes things that get in the way of the consumer experience, we call it the guest experience here.
I call it welcome to my day.
Right. We asked Frank to, if the engine, the ChatGPT model, was even aware of what we deal with every day.
Yeah. And I'm going to just start with his answer.
Well, should we ask the question?
I suppose.
All right.
Are you aware of any instances of insurance companies committing fraud in the collision industry? Now, there's fraud on both sides of the fence.
It's true.
It just happens.
Oh, you know what? That brings up a good point. You get out of these artificial intelligence machines what you put into them. The question you ask matters so much.
One word can change the answers.
Critical. I am a paid member of OpenAI and ChatGPT, and as such, I believe it's critical to ask proper questions. Otherwise, if you ask general questions, you're going to get general answers. When I first asked the question, I asked, "Are you aware of insurance fraud?" And it came up with a whole bunch of titles about people creating fraud, committing fraud against the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Wasn't the question I was intending to ask.
Whether it be consumers claiming something that isn't absolutely right, or shops
committing fraud against the consumer.
There's tons of different kinds of it, and like any profession, you got good guys and bad guys.
That's right.
And gals.
And Frank.
And Frank. So when we asked Frank the question, he says, yes, there have been instances of insurance companies committing fraud in the collision repair industry. This type of fraud occurs when insurance companies engage in deceptive or unethical practices in order to deny, delay, or underpay claims for collision repairs. Some examples of insurance company fraud in the collision repair industry include, like I said before, welcome to my day. This is stuff that we try to deflect from our guests and handle on our end. But it's it's about taking care of the consumer.
Yeah, and it affects you whether you are aware of it or not. Even one of the first ones here is going to be something you, if you have ever had to file a claim, will have experienced.
Yeah, and most people, when they get the repair plan back from the insurance company, already know.
Yeah.
And they're not experts in the industry.
Right.
So the number one answer, lowballing repairs. And I don't care if we're talking about vehicle repairs or your roof repairs or, any lowballing repairs, offering an unreasonably low settlement for collision repairs, which can result in a repair shop having to cut corners or use substandard parts.
We talk about that
over and over
day,
again.
And there are many of our videos. Go ahead and, after you're done watching this one, check the list of content that we provide, because there's a lot of cases of that.
Second one is another thing for you to be ultra sensitive to, and that is number 2. Steering consumers to specific repair shops, encouraging policyholders to use certain repair shops even if those shops are not the best choice for the policyholder or are not equipped to properly repair the vehicle.
Yeah, that's a big one, and
it's better for them if you go where they tell you to go.
Of course.
And if you've listened to any of my videos, you know if they provide you a list of places to go, that is a list of places not to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But interesting that we ask them that, and this is the second answer. It's incredibly relevant.
We are conditioned from birth, it seems, to if we get into an accident, we pull out our wallets, we pull out the insurance card, flip it over, and dial the 800 number. We do that almost before we call the police or any other service.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that.
It won't be long before they get on the phone and ask you if you're okay, and can we arrange for a tow truck to take it to XYZ place for you.
They're doing that today in some of the cars with some of the satellite services.
Yep. Number 3, misrepresenting policy coverage. Misrepresenting the coverage provided under a policy either by making false statements or by failing to fully explain the policy terms and conditions. They almost got me on that. I almost fell victim to that. As much as I know about it, and because I know as much as I did, they weren't allowed to do that.
Okay.
But I put a claim in, and they fed me a whole bunch of horse shit. And I'm like, time out, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time out.
Again,
I would have been a victim, but
we have to be aware of these things, which is why we're bringing this to you. And again, we want to make it very clear that we're not against insurance
No, 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 no.
at all.
I'm
But
not anti-insurance. I am pro-consumer.
that's right.
And I just, you know what? When there's money involved,
Yep.
yep. So, number 4, delay and deny tactics. Delaying or denying payment of claims without a legitimate basis, such as requiring unnecessary repairs or inspections, making unreasonable demands for documentation, or failing to properly investigate the claim. That happens all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Number 5, misrepresenting policyholders' rights. Misrepresenting the policyholder's rights, such as denying a claim without proper investigation, denying a legitimate claim, or failing to pay a claim within a reasonable amount of time. Those are all things setting up a bad faith lawsuit.
Yeah.
If that's happening, and it happens all the time.
If ever you need to run your situation through legal counsel, go to our website. Here's a link,
Yep.
and we've got a resource for you that you can check out and see if it's useful for you.
So, just talking about misrepresenting policyholders' rights, the time that I was speaking about a minute ago, how the claim was going to be handled, I had purchased an endorsement to get it handled a certain way.
Right.
And they're like, no, you didn't, and this is the way it's going to get handled. I said, I'll get right back to you. I called my agent and I said, we talked about this. He says, oh, yeah, you have it. I said, well, they're trying to misrepresent what I purchased.
Often the agents and then the people who fulfill your claim
Yep.
work in separate sections of the same company. And so it was helpful for him to call.
And by the way, AI is an important thing for us to understand, not only from this standpoint, but when you take the pictures of the damage and it goes, to the insurance company, you're taking the pictures, it's in the app goes up to the insurance company.
Yeah.
Those pictures are being looked at not by people.
That's right.
They're getting looked at by AI, and AI is spitting out an estimate.
Yep.
And my father always told me that garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
If you don't put all the right information in, you're not going to get any correct information out.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good advice from your dad, and it's practical advice for you. It really is, and we made a video about the AI revolution that happened in our industry years ago, but it's coming forward. I'll put a link to that right up here so that you can kind of check that out. Yeah.
And then Frank finishes with, it's important to be aware of these types of fraud in order to protect your rights as a policyholder. Totally agree. And to ensure you receive a fair settlement for any collision repairs that you need. If you suspect your insurance company is committing fraud, you should report it to the authorities and seek legal advice as necessary. Legal advice might be tough in some cases, but there is the Department of Insurance in every state. So you have people that you can reach out to and say, hey, this doesn't really sound too right to me.
Yeah. And just to be balanced, if you suspect anybody of fraud,
anybody at all,
take appropriate action. That's a critical piece to this.
Well, I got to tell you, I have a vehicle in here right now that was fixed at another collision center, and I'm going to be speaking with the authorities about it because they put in all these supplements. So you have your original estimate, and then you have, okay, we found this other damage, we need this. We found this other damage, we need that. We found this other damage, we need this. Sometimes that's on the shop side. Sometimes that's on the insurance company side as to how many supplements, because they may want you to jump through hoops, which they were talking about in here.
Sure.
But they put supplements in for parts to go on this vehicle that they didn't put on the vehicle, and the insurance company paid for it. And there's another...
That's massive fraud on the part of the people executing it.
Yeah. Bad. Bad. And I'll be talking to some people about getting a resolve for this consumer.
Well, listen, folks, you don't have to call artificial intelligence Frank. But as we talked about it, and we did another video about how, from the old movie, here's the truth. The revolution, the technological revolution that we are experiencing today is never going to go back or go away. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to be aware of. And
better to embrace it.
Well, to understand its limitations is also important. Those people who sit there and say, spit me out an answer, cut and paste it and send it over, shame, because it's not always accurate. And you always got to know, trust the expert when it comes to the information that you're receiving. The reason we bring this to you today is to address the fact that, yes, we are aware of what's happening. And yes, we are using it to create content that will be beneficial and helpful for you. But we also require you to write to us and let us know, what do you need specifically? And you can do that in the comment section below, and we'll tell us what topics are relevant to you. Do you have any questions about the experience that you've ever had in a body shop or something like that? We want to help there as well.
We've helped several people that have made comments. So
many over the years.
Yep.
So we want to say thank you again. Thank you for allowing me to play in the digital playground that we get to play in on a daily basis. Yep. And you can go ahead and tell them to have a good week.
Happy Saturday. Have an amazing week. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Frank.